So this is actually a Savage 24B, and they made these in a lot of different versions, but this one is, you can see some of the case hardening on that. Look at that. See that? That's really pretty. So we're going to try to save as much of that as we can. So this is a break action 410, 22, and we're going to go ahead and start taking this guy apart. So we've already got our tub ready. Let's get some plastic bags out here because we're going to keep putting things in Ziploc baggies as we go, because we don't want to lose anything. Because if you lose something on this, you can go find it, but it'd be better off if we can keep it all together. Boy, look at that big old gash right there. See what I mean? So we'll get that. When we're done, you can go back and look at how this looked when we start taking it apart, because it's going to be beautiful. Butt plate's in good shape. Wrong screws. I don't know why they're Phillips head screws in there, but we'll put them back in because that's what it came here with. But anyway, somebody must have changed them out. Okay, well, let's start taking it apart. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take the fore end off. Now, I know there's a screw on here. You can see that. It looks like if you unscrew that, that's going to drop that off. But actually, I'm going to put this in my lap, and I'm going to pull off the fore end. So that screw really didn't do anything. We'll set that aside for now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to separate the rest of the barrel here. So brake action. Bring that up a little bit. Off we go. And there we are. So now we've got this already in two pieces. I mean, you can see how bad that's tore up right there. We're going to have to fix that because it doesn't need to be on there. We'll get that straightened out. Now you got to be careful and try to save as much as you can of the original finish. And it doesn't look like it's too bad. I mean, it's kind of rubbed off up here where the fore end was rubbing it. But we'll get a lot of that back. When we put this in the steam pipe, you'd be shocked at how pretty that comes back out. You might have to run it through 3 or 4 times. I've already looked at the bores. We don't need to do any kind of fancy work on the crowns. They look like they're pretty straight up. At least when he fell over, he didn't hit that part of it. All right, so let's start taking some of this guy apart. Let's go down here to the action part of the presentation. All right, so I'm going to throw these guys in the tote. That way we know we got them in there when we need them. First thing let's do, let's separate this out. Let's get this butt plate off. And then there's a big old bolt that goes up in the bottom of here because I'm worried about that piece of wood and I don't want to have that get lost. So let's start off with the Phillips head. That's what I said. Unbelievable. Give me a minute. Let me get the right size Phillips head here. What do we got? Well, let's do this first. Give me a toothpick, bro. Got to clean the dirt out. I mean, there's like 60 years worth of mung down in here. So if that shows up, yeah, see that coming out? I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see a little bit more. Well, maybe not. I thought it was. All right. See, all this dirt gets packed in here because every time they put the gun down in the dirt, it goes right up in there. This one's not as bad. See, the top screw's always worse because when they put it down like this and lean it up against something. So that end always goes in the mud. Let me get a little brush out here. I just want to get the dirt out because I want the screwdriver to be able to get good purchase on the slots and not tear anything up. Okay. All right. I'm just going to give them just a touch of penetrating oil anyway. I know it's wood and I know it's plastic, but if I just want to make sure this all breaks free easy here. So let's just hit that a little bit. Okay, done with that. Now let's get the screwdriver tip and get that guy off there. Does that fit down in there nice? Are we happy with that? No, not even close. Let's get a wider one here. Here we go. How about that? That's too big. Too big, too small, and fresh out. Hold on. It's like Goldilocks. There we go. Yeah, that'll give us good purchase. All right. So grab a screwdriver, put our tip in. Let's start getting that piece out of there. Yeah, we're going to take as much of this apart as we can. Just do this a little bit at a time. There you go. I don't want anything. There's a line on the side of this. I'm not sure it'll show up on camera. But there's a line on the side of it that looks like it might be a crack. On those, it's always neat taking those off because a lot of times you got people's names stamped in there. There's not much in that one. See, that's the line I was talking about right there. I don't know if it shows up. It does show up right there. But if I look in here, it's just on the finish. Okay, that's good news. That's good news. All right, so let's bag and tag that. Yeah, I mean, don't tell me that wasn't put down in the mud. Look at the mud that's underneath there that ran. Yeah, see. All right, so that guy goes with that guy with these guys, and that way we start keeping things together. Take a lot of pictures on your way out, you know. Take pictures if you need to. So there's our hole to get that off with, because that's our screw in there. Let me get a screwdriver to fit in that. Man, that might be too big. Oh, spoiled again. So I've got this tool that I made. It's got a socket on it with a flathead screwdriver to go up inside these guys, because this wall where that stops in here is really thin, and if you're not careful, bing, you can punch that out in a heartbeat. But that guy's too big. So let's make another one, and we'll make that work. All right, so this is our tool for today. And let's see if we can get a flashlight down in there and see what we got. Yeah, I don't know if that shows up on camera. Let me try that. You can see down in there, the big old, well, you can't really see it down there, can you? Oh, well. Let's get a big old screwdriver down in there. Put a tip on here. And I'm going to move this barrel out the way just so we don't make a mess. All right, so let's slide this guy up in here. What's our orientation? There we go. All right, so line this up this way to make sure that it matches. And you'll feel it engage. Come on. Man, that's tight. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Okay. So, moment of truth. This comes out easy. I want to make sure when this separates right here that we don't lose any of this wood, the way that interfaces with that metal, because we're already losing a little chunk of it right here. So we want to make sure we don't lose any more. All right. That goes in the bucket. This can go over here because we're done with him for right now. Let's put that away. All right. There you go. Just simple like that. Lay it flat, slide it off. Everybody goes home tonight. Okay. So now you can see that what I was worried about with this. See a little piece of wood that's chipped? Hold on, here you can't see it, can you? There it is right there. See a little piece of wood? We're going to hit that with just a little bit of glue right now while it's still here, while we're still here, and that's not broken off because we don't want to lose that in the process. So this is, let me get my black CA glue here. This is black CA glue, and we're going to just give that a little touch. Give it a little drink of just a little bit, and then we're going to push it into place because I don't want that thing coming out. Come on, glue. There you go. See it coming down the tube? Right there. Just a touch. I'm going to open it up a little bit. Say, ah. Come on. Okay. All right. Now the glue is a little proud of the wood, but that's okay because we got to come back and refinish all this anyway. All right, there's a spot down here that's missing. Some right there, right like that. Okay. So I just added a little bit right on this tip because that tip was broken off and gone. And by putting a little bit of CA glue on there, when that sets up, we're going to sand that down anyway. But that's the only thing we got to worry about for this guy. Oh, here's another. Let's add, if you look at it right here, you got another. See if I can get that to show up on camera. Come on. There's a chip right here. That's just a little chunk missing. I'm going to drop a little of this in there too, and that will help us to fix that. Details, man. It's all in the details. Okay. Now, the only downside to CA glue is when that glue dries, you can see where I put it on there. When that glue dries and you go back and refinish this, that glue is actually going to be shinier than the rest of the wood. So we'll have to work on that. Now, we're not going to take this apart because I want everybody in here to have, what the heck is that? It is amazing what you find inside these. That's a piece of grass, okay. I mean, I've found catalog pages, I've found phone numbers, I've found, I mean, you can see shims, things that were put in at the factory, all kinds of stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna put the glue back because we don't need the glue no more. Let's start soaking some of these screws. This is mouse milk. Good gunsmith buddy turned me on to this stuff. It works. I mean, Croyle. I've got Croyle. I got probably 3 different kinds of penetrating oils, but this one seems to work pretty good, so I like that. Now, we don't want to soak everything. We just want to put a little drop on here. See a little droppy drop. Just look at that. Look, see a little drop like that. See a little drop on the end of there. There you go. Drop right in there on that pin because we're going to take that out. Let's drop a little on this pin. Let's drop a little on this pin, and it'll just migrate around. Sometimes you need to warm some of this stuff up to get it to move around, but it goes pretty good. Let's make sure this screw right here gets some. That gets a lot. There you go. Let's get some on this side of this pin. There's a screw right here we got to hit. Let's make sure it goes underneath. All right. So that's really all we need to do for this guy. See, look at that mechanism. See that? That's how that opens up. So we're going to pull that apart. We probably won't get to it today because we're going to be doing another live event here in a little while. But this is an amazing piece of equipment here. Now, if you look inside, when I say dual, you got 22 on top and 410 down at the bottom, but you control which one fires with this right here. Now watch the little toggle come up. Let me get a flashlight in there. Maybe that'll help you see it better. There's a little toggle in there. And when I hit this button on the side, that comes up and flips that switch. so that you can make it go from top barrel to bottom barrel. See that? So, well, this isn't a crazy complicated piece, but it's not stupid simple. I know there's a screw up underneath here, so I'm going to go ahead and try to wick a little bit of juice underneath here to get into that guy. Can I get to him from here? No. Okay. All right. I just don't want to strip anything, so that's going in the bucket right there. Let's take this guy apart. That'll be a little bit easier, and because it's on the wood, we don't have to worry about the screws ripping like we do in the metal. So, all right, what do we got? We got a big ugly screw that somebody's messed up. Let's start with that one. That'll fit. Does that fit it? Yeah, that's good. Let's get a little bit wider. A little bit wider. Always want to grab the right size screwdriver bit, you know? Makes a difference. When I take the screw out, I'll show you what I'm talking about. There we go. Now you can turn it back and forth a couple times just to loosen it up. But you see how that screw's been jacked up? I mean, that's like got little razor edges on it. But that doesn't need to look like that. That's because somebody used the wrong screwdriver on it. So we'll clean that up. But let's put that right there right now. Let's get this guy right here. Is that too big? No. We're good to go. Yeah, we're too big. Too wide. Not too fat, just too wide. Let's get a little thinner. There we go. There we go. Good, good, good. Come on out. Come on. All right, so that guy goes up there, that guy goes there. Kind of remember what you're doing as you're doing it. You can even, I mean, taking pictures is a brilliant thing to do. Now we got to get these two guys out to get this piece of metal off the back. And then our wood will be ready to be cleaned. So we got to clean these guys out because they're gross. They are filthy. Now, there's not a whole lot of sense putting penetrating oil on all this because it's going into the wood. There you go. Okay. Come on. Everybody has to come out. Boy, that's got a lot. Yeah, that's pretty rusty. Okay. Now, if you notice, these screws are not the same. So as you go, keep track of what comes out of where, what goes back into where. And part of the way you can do that is take pictures, like I said, on your cell phone, because that will remember everything. Come on. Boy, these are tight. This has never been apart because these screws are perfect except for the rust. And there you go. There's your image. Don't forget it. You can see how all the screws fit together, where they go, what they do. So we'll refinish that guy and put some color back on that whole thing because it's just worn off. That's all. Not bad. This used to be case hardened. That's a shame. You can see it inside here just a little bit. That's a shame. But so let's tag everything that we got right here so we know what we're doing. And that way we can keep it all together. So I've got an infinite supply of little baggies. These guys go with this guy. And that way I can keep it sorted out when I'm going along. Because when you got, 15 or 20 of these things happening at the same time, that's another reason not to have more than one apart at a time on the bench. For me, anyway. I don't know. Maybe you guys tear them all apart. So that's going to have to... Yeah, see, those pins move so easy. I don't know if you can see that or not, but with my thumbnail, see that? Watch that. See that coming up? Look at this one. See it coming up? Dink. So that'll come apart really easy. And we'll take that guy apart. And these screws go with that guy. He goes in the bucket. And the grass that came out of it, that doesn't have to be saved. But we can start working on this right away because this wood, that CA glue's set up, I'm sure. Let me make sure there's no other cracks. This is a weak spot for these kinds of, I mean, that's a lot of torque on that little bit of wood right there. So you get a lot of cracks a lot of times. I don't see anything. See, we're in good shape. This guy loves this thing, so it'll be fun to bring this back for him. Squirrel season's coming up. Well, I'm going to cut this off here and make that 27 minutes of part one, doing whatever I just did. And we'll start on the wood here in a minute. I'm sure that my email's in the bio here somewhere. My team helps me with that stuff. God bless you guys. So there you have it. Come and get them. Don't pet the cat backwards and say your prayers. Thank God and America.